right, folks, back on the Bossman show. Friend of the show, good buddy of mine, well, the Colorado Bears, my man, Steve Smiley. Steve, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Bossman, man, good to see you. Good to see you. Things are good. We just started an official practice on Monday, like every other team in the country. So things are good. The voice is probably a little raspy. You're trying to, get it moving in practice. So it hasn't quite fully acclimated to these longer practices, but we're getting there. So things are good, man.
No, man, I can't believe it's already in your fifth season, man. We,
Yeah,
we first talked when we got hired in 2020. We first
that's
talked then,
right.
and that's year five, man.
Hey, it's year 5. That was during COVID. The Zoom thing that we're doing, it was just starting to happen. It's still around. And yeah, for me, I mean, it's year 5 as a head coach, but then I had those 4 years here at Northern Colorado before then with Coach Linder. And so it's really year 9 at UNC and with this community. And so it's starting to kind of reflect and look back. And it's been a big piece of, our family's life and our kids, growing up in this town and this community. So it's been great, man. But yeah, it's year 5, and here we are. It moves quick, right?
Yes, man. It's funny, man. Like I say, thinking about back, like man, from 2020 on the Zoom to now, like it's crazy.
No doubt.
Think about it, man.
I
It's crazy.
probably didn't have glasses back then, man. Like Father Time gets all of us, right? But yeah, things change. You still got your glasses. Get your sunglasses on, though.
Oh man, look here. I tell people all the time, so look, man, people are like, is that a stick? I said, no, it's not a stick. I have migraine, so it's best to be having my shades than with the
Yeah,
screen. And I'll be in the screen, like squinting the screen. So people are like, yeah,
I
that's
get it.
a
Yeah,
stick.
yeah,
No, this is because I can't see and I got migraine.
yeah, yeah. No, I
So
get
folks
it,
think
man.
I'm doing it for stick. No, I'm not.
No. My wife gets those really, really bad. Like she's got the pre-meds and all that kind of stuff. So I get it, man. Those things are brutal. Brutal,
No,
brutal.
no doubt, man. I must ask you, man, for you, man, with your guys, man, this summer, how's conditioning for your guys? Being able to altitude for me, that's some great conditioning, man. I know it's like some people hate it, but it gets you in good shape. So how fun is it to get you guys out there conditioned when they come to play you guys, man? Deal with that
Yeah.
altitude. You guys to just run guys out of the gym and home.
Yeah, it's a good question. We definitely play fast. You hear about it like with the Denver Nuggets, and you hear about it just in general. Like the Denver Broncos got that 5280 on their helmets, and that's
Yes.
that's that's the mile high, right? So we're just about the same. I think we're like 5,100. It's the same thing. We're like 100 feet below Denver, but you're 5,000 feet in the sky. You should probably play fast and try to use it as the advantage. We got teams in our league, Portland State, Sac State, teams like that they're at sea level. And so when they show up for 1 or 2 days, it's really hard to acclimate. So going back to your question though, the summer was good. We try to get them going right away on the weights, some small workouts, conditioning. And then, the phase that we're in now, we don't just like stop practicing, condition a ton. We have winners and losers are always going to run. There's going to be some competition, but I think through the course of the 8 weeks in the summer and then the fall workouts, now official practice, that we are trying to get these guys in shape, and it's going pretty good right now. I feel pretty good about that phase.
No doubt, man. And thankfully that we don't have to worry about the magic date October 15th. That was like when I was playing
Yeah.
ball, the magic date. Thank God you can do it before that now with the summer
Yes.
workouts in the spring now, because especially in our whole world of the portal now, man, we gotta have camaraderie. We gotta have oneness, our brotherhood. So it's good to get the
Yeah.
summertime for that, get develop guys, get them stronger, also build those bonds you need to get to adversity throughout the year.
It is a blessing having a summertime. What's happened is that, with the portal, like we signed 9 new dudes in the spring and we had 7 returners back. So we had a good retention, but 9 new guys in the spring. So that summer's vital, like you said, for the, camaraderie, and also just building your team, building your habits. The only downside to all this portal stuff is like, as a coach, there's no downtime, at least until you get to the summer phase. Cause now like May used to be kind of protected, but in May you're signing guys. And then once you sign guys, it's not over. The work's just begun. You have to get them into school. And so like all the little stuff, transcripts, immunizations, where are they living, all that different stuff, all that gets, kind of compacted with a bunch of guys in a few weeks as opposed to months. So yeah, it's chaotic, but no, great summer for us. Feel good about it. And we're just moving forward.
Man, you got 6 freshmen, man. And talk about how cool it is to have 6 young guys on your roster that you can develop and coach and really
Yeah.
immerse them in that no Colorado way that you built out there, man, and having these young guys to actually be in that pipeline as your vets age out.
Yeah, and it's a good question because we have no sophomores on the court. So we have 6 freshmen, but then we have 10 old guys, and all those old guys are either seniors or juniors. So I think for us, we still want to stay old. And having 10 old guys, that's been great. But then at the same point, a lot of our players have been able to move through freshmen all the way through and become really good players for us. Now we have, Zach Block's in his 4th year, Langston Reynolds and Brock Wisney are in their 3rd years with the program. And so we always want to have that component of having some young guys that kind of move their way through. So yeah, I mean, it's been fun to have those young guys. Their heads are spinning because the old guys have just been around Division I basketball a whole lot longer, and so they pick things up quicker. But that's what makes it fun. If you have 16 old guys, it's hard. And so having a few young guys that are just trying to figure it out, it's been really fun for us.
No doubt, man. And I was talking I mentioned earlier about habits. They get to watch these older guys
Yeah.
in the program, watch their habits, be consistent. I'm big on habits, Steve, as you know, man. I feel like your habits determine how you perform on that court. So knowing how to practice, knowing how to get up extra shots, knowing how to go to class the right way, work out the right
Yeah.
way, eat the right way, all these little small details that affect winning, these old guys pass down these young guys by their habits.
Yeah, and that's right. We have, having the 6 young guys, that only works for those guys if they have good role models.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, like you're saying. So like on our team, I mean, we're telling our young guys, man, follow Jaron Riley, follow Zach Block, follow Langston Reynolds, follow Brock Wisney. And we have other old guys that have great leadership, but they're new. But those 4 guys have been in the program, they know kind of what our expectations are. It helps so much to have guys like that.
No doubt, man. What I like about your roster, man, it's very switchable. Like the height wise, you can go 1 through 5, 1 through 4. So when you was building your roster, you just had that in mind of having guys who could play the ball screen coverage the right way, be switchable with their length and with their height, because you can really blood all the different coverages with the ball screen coverage with the guys, the height you have.
I think you're right. I think we have a line that we can go big, we can go small, we can go traditional. We have good size on our team, and I think that's right. And even going from the offensive perspective, we could play. We always run a lot of ball screens, so we can play ball screen heavy. We can post multiple guys up. We can do a lot of things. And I think as you're building your roster again, getting 9 new guys in the spring, sometimes you got to look at, especially as you're building that class, let's get the most talented players we can to figure out what their skill sets are. And then even more importantly, who's coming back and what are the holes with the guys coming back? And then what talent can we get? And then you try to piece it together. But I think initially, as you build your roster, who are you retaining? What are their skill sets? Then who can you sign early, whether that's the fall or the first start of the spring? And then you get a little bit more strategic. But I do think that the final product, the final roster is very switchable. We can play a lot of different ways. I think we can adjust to whatever the opponent wants to do if we want to do that. I feel really good about that.
No doubt, man. And I feel like that's what you want to have is be versatile because
Yeah.
sometimes plan A or B are not gonna work every night. So having going to C, D, and E, or even F if you have to, having those options is one of a kind. If you only play one way, then you're screwed. So it's great to have
No doubt.
options out on the court each night, depending on what's thrown at you.
No doubt. For us, we're always going to attack it with 3 defensive ball screen coverage, a really aggressive kind of hedge trap, but then a more traditional, like a lateral flat drop coverage, and then the third one being that switch. And so, looking at our bigs, like, can they do those 3 coverages? And some guys are better at 1 or 2 of the coverages than the other. But having a bunch of guys that can do those different modes, it's helped us out a lot. So I do think that we're going to be pretty pliable and able to adjust.
And for your bigs, man, I'll tell you to pull some Al Horford film on Synergy, man. They'll teach your bigs
Yeah.
how to guard on ball guarding, man. He does a great job moving his feet, staying in front, causing him to take a tough shot, man. My former Atlanta Hall buddy Al Horford, so
Yeah.
shout out to him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll watch some of that, man, for your bigs.
No, he is one of the goats, man. Like you don't stick around the league and play real minutes when you're about 40 years old unless you can do all that stuff. And you're right, Al Horford, man, he's still doing it. Got the championship last year, right? And can do all kinds of stuff. So that's a good one. We actually might need to pull some clips out for the big guys. It's a good call.
It's crazy. Steve, me, him, the same age.
Yeah,
We're the same age.
I know. I know. He's still doing it at the highest level.
That's because I pretty much came in with Al Horford. in the
Yep.
NBA. So we're the same age. It's funny, we laugh at all the time how we're the same age and look at you, look at me. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we've been in it together, brother. We've been in it for a long time.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yes, indeed, man. And also, man, let me ask you this, man. Talk about just how you guys really looking forward to this non-con schedule you got, man. You got
Yeah.
Colorado, Washington State, Texas Tech, Air Force, name a few, man. I know it's hard to schedule games because you all win. So how hard is it for you to schedule these games
Yeah.
and remain as good as you've been, and also challenge yourself on the road before you get to that Big Sky conference play as
Yeah.
well.
Like the blueprint is different for everybody. The blueprint here, I mean, you look at it, one, you got to play some money games, right? You got to pay some bills, so that gets dumped in. And then we have this Big Sky Summer League Challenge, and so you get one home, one road, and we're at North Dakota State, who's gonna be really good, and we have St. Thomas here, who's really good, and the two leagues come together. They determine those matchups, and then we try to get the local teams. So there you go. You got Air Force coming here, which that's a grinder. Now we got a Mountain West team in our gym, which is great, but still it's hard. And then we go to Denver, and we'll flip flop those the next year. We take a few non D1s, and then it gets really hard to schedule games. So like my buddy at South Dakota State, Eric Henderson, and they've won the Summit 3 or 4 years in a row. They were having a tough time getting games, and so they wanted to do a neutral game in the western side of their state, the West River, South Dakota. So he reached out to me and said, "Hey, how about we play you guys in Rapid City?" And I thought it was a great opportunity because it's a team that's good enough to win our league, and it's a neutral game. Now there will still be more South Dakota State fans there because it's still in the state of South Dakota, but that's kind of the environment we have to win in Boise to win the Big Sky Championship. So like, let's find a way to replicate that. And yeah, you got Washington State, you're at Cal Baptist. Like, we got a lot of tough games, but I also think 6 home games, 6 road games, 1 neutral game. That's how it ended up, the 13 games. And so for us to be at least equaled out, that's as good of a balance as we're ever going to get. So I do look at it that way, like, hey, we got 6 home, 6 road, 1 neutral. We'll take that, every time.
That is an accomplishment in this environment. So,
Hard.
no, you definitely won with that one for sure, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's hard. It's just hard. It's hard to get home games. It's hard, especially like part of it too is it's geographical. Like there's not that many Division I teams in the Western U.S. And so when you put our two leagues together, the Big Sky and the Summit, then like getting a like level team, it's really like us, the Big West. The WAC's in a little different stratosphere now financially. So maybe they're doing money games. So us, the Big West, the WCC is a different stratosphere. Not to say you can't get a home and home, but they're doing money games. The Southland, maybe go down to Texas, but there's not 15 conferences out here. There's like 3. And
Mm-hmm.
so it gets hard, man, to schedule. And I think every team, in our part of the country struggles with that for sure.
No doubt, man. Like, some schools in Texas are going to Georgia to play. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, that's interesting. But yeah,
Yeah.
but it's hard. You have to either just pick, go west or go east if you're in Texas. Kind of, you're in that area where you kind of have to pick your poison.
Yeah, and it gets expensive to fly all the way across the country and this and that. Like, on the East Coast, there's still several leagues that you can pop in a bus and go play someone outside of your league and, an hour or two away. It's a like level team. We just don't have that out here. So you got to be as strategic as you can.
No doubt, man. I commend you for it, brother. I really do. And for you,
Yeah.
man, let me ask you, how's your off season with you and the family, man? I know when you're coaching, you don't get much downtime. So how's the season with off season with you and the family, man? Did you do anything fun to kind of decompress
Yeah.
a little bit from this whole coaching thing you're doing, man?
I appreciate you asking that. Now, fam's good, man. I've been married 20 years and I got now a junior and a sophomore in high school. So I got a junior boy and a sophomore girl. The problem is we don't have much time because our son's competitive basketball guy. So like when I saw you down in Atlanta, he was playing in that thing. And then my daughter's a competitive volleyball player. So you had 2 club seasons to what we're already doing with the Bears. Our schedule gets packed. But to answer your question, we did for the first time in my life, we snuck away for a little 5-day cruise. It's funny you bring up the hurricane stuff. Like when we flew out of Miami, or we flew into Miami, and then we went just to a basic cruise in the Bahamas. And so first time I've ever done it. But that whatever the hurricane was that went through Miami, that was the day that Saturday we flew into the hurricane. And we got through it, and we were able to stay in Miami for a night before we went on a cruise. But and I was dumb enough to not get the insurance. And if those flights were canceled, we were toast, man. So we got to it. It was awesome. First time I've done it. Some people are cruise people, some aren't, but I would say I'll do it again for sure if I can.
I love a cruise, and Steve says, man, this is gonna blow your mind. I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, got on the ferry to the
Yeah.
Bahamas in 2 hours
Yeah.
to Bimini Island. So, man, I'm with you there. Like, I love going on cruise. I love islands, man, because
Yep.
my mom's Jamaican, so
Yep.
it's right in my blood to be an island dude anyway. Because my mom's
Yep.
Jamaican, but man, I love that, man. And I told you in Atlanta, man, my two are 5 and 3, so I ain't quite got there yet, but
Yeah.
but
You
I'm
got a
getting
different
it,
type of busy. Yeah. You got a different type of busy right now, just trying to get sleep, right?
man. What you said, but at least my my 3-year-old, my boy, he's driven the ball now, so I'm happy he's driven
Good.
the ball.
Good.
His hands over the ball, not up. He's actually over the ball. I'm like, thank
Yeah,
you.
I've learned like in the parenting thing that every phase is just hard, man. Now I got kids that are driving, right? So like that's a different phase. Like now you got a kid behind the wheel and another kid with the driver permit and almost ready to drive, and that's terrifying too. So that every phase, boss man, they're all hard, man. They're all hard, but they're all fun too. So we're trying to just enjoy it. Our kids are out of the house in less than 3 years, and that nest is empty. So we're just trying to have as much fun as we can right now.
And man, my little one, little Jake's so funny, Steve. Man, we went to Dave and Buster's, right? This
Yeah,
this dude crawling up the skee ball machine
that's key ball. Yeah,
to do the ski.
I love it.
I'm like, dude, you can't do that. He said, I want to win. I said, that's not how you win.
Yeah.
Dude crawled up there with the,
That's funny. That's that's pretty good.
like, hey, this dude, I said, this dude cracks me up. I said, you're truly my son. That's something I would do when I was your age. You're
Right.
truly my
Right.
son.
Finding ways to win, man. Finding ways to win. That's
You
all.
got
That's what
there
we're all
right,
trying to
man.
do.
Yes, sir. But man, Steve, it's good to see you in Atlanta, man. I hope we talk again in March.
Yeah.
We go to the big dance, man. Hope you win in Boise. Hope we had that talk that week for the selection Sunday, man. We can celebrate together, man, and know that you came a long way in your journey, brother.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. I always appreciate it. It's always good to catch up. And like I said, hopefully we get it done, find some way to get out to March Madness and enjoy that. It's difficult and it's a really good league, man. But all we can do is put ourselves in the best position and then go out there and see if we can get it done. That's the goal.
No doubt, folks. Keep smiling on the Boss Man Show.